Yo, what's up? It's the Heavyist podcast, weekly worship at the altar of radness. We are back to talk about some goddamn riffs because we've been swimming in Deathcore Summer, and
we really have.
we've just been ignoring all the brilliance that's been happening, Gary. There's been
I know it's crazy how busy it's been behind us while we've been just talking about the past.
We've been talking about riffs from 15 years ago, and there's so much sick stuff that's happened recently. So this episode, we're going to be chatting about 10 amazing new records that you should listen to if you're an enjoyer of heavy music. That's what we're up to. If you're interested, just stick around, I guess.
We haven't done a tenor for a while, have we?
It's a tenor, mate. It's a proper
tenor, mate. Proper.
This is going back. Do you remember that mad one we had where it was the classic, I think it was Mother's Day. It was the classic Brother's Day.
It was Brother and Sunday. Lest we forget Brother and Sunday.
Lest we forget Brother and Sunday. I think it was a new season of Trailer Park Boys. We fucking just tanked
we drank all of those like fancy beers that you had, and oh man, good days. No, nothing as exciting as that today. I've just got, some water. You've got a beer on the go. Look at you.
Gary, my family is away. I've been existing as a single human, just sort of navigating the world on my own.
How lost do you feel?
Yeah, wholly lost. That's why I've turned to the bottle. Wholly lost. I've been enjoying free time though, bro. I've just been like watching a bunch of Reacher. That's nice. Oh, that's good. Nice. That's cool. Just guys having fun. That's what you should get up to when you're on your own.
Does it make you want to get jacked? Start hitting the gym and get swole.
It does. He's such a badass. He's such a cool dude. He's basically Batman without like the costume. He's so like morally correct. He's double-hard. He's always like the smartest guy or knows the sort of the right thing to do or say in a situation. He's basically plainclothes Batman. Do you remember like the golden days of Person of Interest? Like that was really good.
Yeah, that
remember how good he was. Remember how like they sort of had to make up all this nonsense for him to be able to just be a really cool guy, like constantly. We'll like take away all the nonsense and make it sort of very linear and just like there's some bad guys that you don't like, and he's just going to poke his nose in and sort it out. Like it's very much that.
Hell yeah. I've been watching something that probably couldn't be more different to Reacher. There's a new series of The Devil's Plan. You ever watched The Devil's Plan?
Nah, it sounds sick.
Mate, it's a Korean game show where it's kind of like the Korean version of The Traitors, but it's based around some of the most complicated board games you've ever seen in your life. But I absolutely love it. It's properly nerdy. You've never watched a nerdier show, honestly. But I absolutely love it. Like, it takes them like 15 minutes to explain what's the games before they happen because they're so complicated. And you still don't understand them even after that. But I love it. It challenges my intellect and I enjoy that.
Yeah. That's what, like, I'm in the business of having my intellect sort of completely unchallenged. Like, I want to just knock things over with my intellect at the moment. I've got no brain power left.
Perfectly valid.
Yeah, and I'll clock off from work, and the kid's not here. Then I want things to knock my brain over.
I just go into like
be static.
You want to go into standby mode. I don't blame you.
Yeah, I am in standby mode right now.
Living in standby mode until they come home. Mate, respect to you. Sonny, we're wasting a lot of time. We've got too many riffs to talk about. We need to stop chatting about nonsense. Get on with it.
Where do you want to start, Gary?
I think you know where I want to start. I want to start at the very tippy top of this incredible mountain of riffs that we're talking about this week with Your Spirit Dies. Your Spirit Dies are a metalcore band from Columbia, South Carolina, and this is their debut album. It's called My Gnawing Pains Will Never Rest, and it was released on the 2nd of May through Monarch Heavy.
I am the cries of torture and pervades the air above. I made up to suffer below.
Big up Monarch Heavy. That's well good. Mastiff label mates, what up?
Yeah, what up?
Big it up.
So we've had our eye on this band for quite a while now, and they released some really, really good EPs and stuff. And when this album landed in the inbox, I was absolutely desperate to just instantly pounce on that bad boy. And I kind of thought I knew what I had in store. I knew what to expect. I thought, oh, here we go, another sort of post knock loose metalcore band, just tuning ridiculously low and doing chunky stomps. And you look at the artwork and the wordy album title, and you kind of already have an idea of what it's going to sound like. And then, oh my god, you hit play and you are just completely leveled by this record. Like, I'm on a strict diet of this record at least twice a day at the moment. Honestly, I'm fucking obsessed. I pressure washed at the patio the other weekend, and I swear I'm lucky that the whole thing's not just a pile of rubble, because I was listening to this the whole time.
Yeah, I had a patio. Now I've just got loads of chalk. It's a fucking nightmare.
Now I live in a quarry. Mate, I think I described it to you when we first received it as the final boss of MySpace Metalcore Revival. And I think I stand by that.
I agree. I think I've said that to 3 people, because it's the best way to describe this record.
Good. I'm glad it stuck around.
We've been enjoying a healthy dose of brilliant revivalist metalcore. I want to say the first thing that really took me like in this sort of vein was Your Receding Warmth by Boundaries, right? I think that was one of the first like smaller bands putting out albums, coming up and stepping up and being like, right, this is our album, this fucking bangs. And we absolutely ate it up. It was fantastic. We've been absolutely adoring this band.
I want to see him tour the UK in between the last time we did like a sort of normal episode, and they were fucking incredible. I'm sorry I'm rubbing it in because you couldn't make it because Jolene was ill, but it was, oh my god, dude. Boundaries, they were incredible. We're not talking about Boundaries, but just to say they were so good. But anyway.
So this sort of sound's been bubbling for a while. There's been people doing it, challenging the throne, putting out great records. There's a lot of labels that are really heavily just this, like, and this album has just come along and knocked them all down like fucking dominoes. I am so into this, brother. Yes. It's so cool. It's so cool.
I think the thing is usually when a band is doing this kind of thing, they've got like 1 or maybe 2 frames of reference. They're like, well, we're a band who like Poison the Well a lot, or we're a band who like Misery Signals a lot. Whereas Your Spirit Dies are kind of scholars of all of it, and they pull it all in together. And you kind of get like this mad combination of like the heart and passion of Poison the Well, like the technical kind of choppiness of August Burns Red, and then the sort of like Melodeath inspired like Killswitch As I Lay Dying kind of vibe, along with the technical hardcore aggression of Misery Signals, and even a bit of like Avenged Sevenfold before they turned butt rock in there as well. Like there's so many styles and vibes from within the metalcore scene as we know it and have known it for however many years we've been involved in it, all just kind of convalescing and creating this album. And I love every second of it. It's so exciting.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's chaotic. It's intense. They move from those like revivalist Killswitch riffs into like, right. One of the things that I wasn't prepared for is that I feel like there's like a load of counterparts in here.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a real
really
like
tons of it,
like intent, like the counterparts intensity, like where it's not just we stop here and we do this like set piece. It's just all goes like that counterparts end unpredictable explosivity of it that just puts it over the edge. Like, and they do these really, they employ the like melodic sort of like chorus aspect of it. Like there is the Killswitch worship. It's there. It's absolutely there. But they make it so cool in their own. Like they're just a cut above.
They're absolutely incredible. Like there's quite a lot of album. Like it's 12 tracks over 40 minutes, which for this style, this genre, is a lot, really. It's quite a long record, but there is not a fucking millimeter of fat on the whole thing. Like they never repeat an idea. Like they're always coming up with new inspiration and doing new things and making new exciting ideas. And every member of the band is on an absolute 11 out of 10 performance. Like I need to shout out Brandon, the vocalist. Like, he's so cool. The thing is that like the music is quite dense and complicated, and he has this really lovely style that just kind of floats along on top of the whole thing. Like, Nicola's been watching a lot of athletics lately, and there's this thing that happens when they have like a slow-mo camera of people as they cross the finish line. And it's really weird because the camera is kind of fixed on their top part of their body. And you know that they're going insanely fast, but from sort of the waist up, they look like they're not moving. And that's kind of how I see Brandon's vocal performance on this record. Like, you know that what he's doing takes loads of skill and loads of time and effort, but it all just kind of just sinks in so lovely that it sounds like it barely takes him any effort at all. Like, it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. And there's some absolutely massive breakdowns on this record, mate.
Oh my God.
Born Forsaken,
dude.
that big ass breakdown, harder than hell, dumber than fuck, just unreal. Like Snow in Summer. Shit, dude.
Oh my God, man. I mean, in the depths of grief starts with a beatdown.
Yes.
Like, how many times have I, even like a couple of episodes ago, I was moaning about bands not having the bottle to start songs with beatdowns. Here we go. Here's a prime example of a band that are not scared to open a song with a beatdown. And I love it, mate. The song that gets me the most is A Rose for Every Thorn. Like,
yes. Rose for Every Stone. Is it not? Or is it Rose for Every Thorn? I've just written it down. Oh, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just. Maybe I mistyped. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, that song, A Rose for Every whatever it is absolutely incredible. I've had that.
It's golden.
That riff has just been glued into my head. And there's a point in that song where they like half time that riff and the drummer goes and it does it for 2 bars and that's it, and it's absolutely insane. It's so impressive.
Yeah,
and I love it.
The
Every
golden
time
age
we
kill
get to
switch
that,
in
like,
that record.
30 seconds of that song, I want to cry. I'm loving it so much. Like, it's incredible.
You know, on top of all that, they bring in sort of like mathy shit, like in Designs of Grief, like that comes in with like the chaotic scales and shit. Like there's so many brilliant things that they're pointing to here, but it doesn't feel derivative or like stuck as like a pastiche or anything. It's absolutely rips, mate. It's so sick, this record. I think this is points on the board for Metalcore Album of the Year, like 100%, right? This is the one to beat. I mean, Malev's coming. Malev is coming.
Malev are on the horizon, like watching out. But like, I think Malev are kind of not really a metalcore band anymore. I think they're more just a straight up metal band. But anyway, like this, I'm obsessed with this album, and I like, because I knew we were in the middle of doing that Deathcore Summer when it came out. I posted a thing in Discord, and I got so many messages from people going, "Oh my God, yeah, that Your Spirit Dies album." Like, even the homie of the show, Phil, Riff and Chips Phil, hit me up and he's like, "I saw you banging on about Your Spirit Dies on Instagram, so I had to check it out." And he's like, "It's absolutely fucking brilliant, man." I was like, "Yes, Phil knows." Like, this album is just impeccable. And sorry to our Deathcore Summer homie Alex, because there's a lot of riffs in here, which we know he hates now, but oh well, fuck him. This record's incredible.
It's rips. It's absolutely rips, dude.
So good.
Points on the board.
Best
Metalcore
records
album
I've heard this year. Absolutely incredible. Big up to Your Spirit Dies, and My Gnawing Pains Will Never Rest. Next on the old epic list, we've got another exciting release coming from a band called Stolen Gun. This is a brand new band featuring members of Thus Spoke Zarathustra, No Cure, Pure Bliss, and of course, most notably, Vince Bennett from the Acacia Strain on vocals. This is their debut demo. It's called Demo, and it was released on the 5th of May. So, mate, the second you see Big Vince post that he has a side project, Did you
just happy.
immediately shit your pants? Like I could have been going 80 mile an hour down the motorway, and I would have just got my phone out and just got straight to find it.
It's like when your favorite actor announces they've got a TV, they're doing a HBO show.
Yeah,
like that's what it felt like. It's like McConaughey is going to do a new HBO show. That's what it feels like. It's like something is going. He's cooking. He's cooking. You know he's cooking because Stolen Gun, the band name's all caps. Every track is all caps. It's all caps energy. You know before you've even clicked it that it's going to be fucking fire.
Yeah, you know this shit's going to absolutely F you up. I think it's cool, like the band, they're kind of a strange mixture of members, I think, but I think they're all sort of united by straight edge, which is very cool. I think this was all kind of just conceived and put together over the internet while they were all kind of spread all over the place. And I think the idea is it's a grind project, but I don't really. I mean, it's grindy, I guess, but I wouldn't call it a grindcore band.
It's emerging in this like brilliant sort of melting pot sort of bands that we get, like No Cures and things like that, where it's just like the main objective here is beating the absolute piss out of everyone. Like it's it's the similar to like what you've got from like the God Complex EP. It's just it's like we're not a metalcore band, we're not a grindcore band. We're just here to do the hardest thing consistently for like about 7 minutes.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome. Can you just call it genre violence?
I think it's genre violence.
The genre is violence.
The genre is violence. I want to talk about the opening because the opening to the record is like it's just a 10 out of 10. It's the coolest thing you could possibly do. So it's a fade in that does a breakdown, and then they do the riff faster, and then he just says the band name Stolen Fucking Gun. And that's the entire intro, and it's the most perfect intro track that anyone's ever done. It's the coolest, hardest thing possible. That intro track is amazing.
Honestly, you could have put together something more badass than
it's
that.
Perfect.
I think this whole thing is absolutely fucking sick. I mean, that's hardly surprising, is it? I mean, it's Vince Bennett's side project, but even if you could try and pretend it wasn't him and it was somebody else, I'd still be absolutely leveled by this EP.
Yeah.
Like, this is incredible. Like, I don't know that you'll ever. It might be a while till you have a chance for this band to play a live show, but you just know that in a live environment, this shit would destroy. It would destroy. Like, they'd have to have additional risk assessments before they ever let anyone come in and see this band play live. Like this is just going to reduce venues to rubble, man. It's so fucking hard. Like, Vince sounds amazing all over this. Like, I don't know if you follow him on social media. It sounds like he's been having a bit of a rough time lately, and it feels like he's channeling literally all of it into this. Like, it's so spiteful. The delivery is quite a bit different to what you're kind of used to. Like, usually it's quite chest heavy, but he's much more like higher register throughout.
Yeah.
It sounds wicked. I love when he goes.
Those, he's just having fun with his vocals.
He's having a right laugh.
He's the best.
So cool.
And he's smashing these really just scathing, gnashing highs all over it. They're on full display. We've heard them in like later Strain records. We've heard him peek into this, and this is just him just fully all over the map. It's got brilliant sort of signature Vince lyricism in it, like the part in Leland gets me, and then it goes into an absolute beast of a breakdown. Like, I'm just so here for this. This couldn't be any better.
The one that got me was in Run for Your Life, when the lyric is, "You tried your best and now you're dead." So good.
I love it, mate. Stolen Fucking Gun just smashes into like blistering grind fury. Then it's like proper like sick two-steppy moments. It's just properly unbridled. It's all over the map genre wise, and it's just here to just knock you to fuck. I love it.
Yeah, man. Incredible. Can't wait. Hopefully it's not just like a random muckabout thing that they do, or maybe that's how End started, right? It was like a random, like, let's just sort of muck about and put something together.
Should we just make the hardest EP we can?
Yeah. And then before you know it, it's basically every member of that band's like main job, and there are other bands become side projects. But yeah, love this. Excited for the future for Stolen Gun, and then Demo. Incredible.
Amazing.
Moving back to metalcore, but maybe from a slightly different era.
Yeah.
Wounded Touch. Wounded Touch are a 5-piece metalcore band from Michigan. Their new album is called A Vivid Depiction of Collapse, and it's released on Friday the 16th through Smart Punk Records. So me and you have been covering Wounded Touch releases for quite a while. I think we've talked about all of them or most of them. And we even talked about 2 singles that are on this record, The Damn Variable and Collar Radio, and about a couple of months ago. And this band just, I don't know why, but they seem to kind of fly under the radar a little bit, which is a bit of a shame. Like, obviously there's a whole new landscape of modern metalcore going on. You know, Your Spirit Dies are a band that are sort of peeking into that scene that's very popular. But I don't know why it is Wounded Touch don't quite get the love that they deserve.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, you know, they've done well though. They've done stuff over here. They've done things. They're absolute workhorses. They have been just putting out bangers, and that's the best thing you can fucking do.
I agree. And as soon as I turned this album on and I just got absolute Chariot energy, I was like, yeah, I'm here.
It's you know, we're very much in this metalcore revivalist thing. Same as, you know, they could play a show with Your Spirit Dies, but
definitely.
But the well they're drawing from is, you know, is different. It's really sort of like old Norma Jean, getting loads of like golden age Under Oath throughout this thing, which made me fucking super happy. Little pepperings of Glassjaw, like it's you know, these aren't things that you could say about Your Spirit Dies and a lot of the other sort of revivalist metalcore bands. That I think they've come at this from a really really smart position that's like not oversaturated.
I agree. Like, it's on a technical level, it's kind of a bit more simplified and a bit looser, but I think as a result, it gives it more kind of feel and a bit more like depth than most bands that kind of come around. Like, obviously I just waxed about how I adore Your Spirit Dies, but like, this is just, I don't know, this has got a bit more intimate emotion built into it because of how it's a bit looser and a bit less like, everything's a little bit more, I don't know, ramshackle, like a little bit. It kind of has this feel like they sort of just turned up and pulled this album out of their asses in a couple of in a week or something. Like, they turned up with nothing written before and just went, right, what are you feeling right now? And that's kind of where it came from. And I really enjoy that about it. Like, I really enjoy it gives like ideas much more room to breathe than a lot of other bands in their genre, in their scene. Like, are there, you know, it's like 3 seconds and you're like onto the next idea. Whereas Wounded Touch aren't scared to like let something marinate a little bit more, which I think is really interesting.
I feel like you could sort of put them in a sort of similar lane as like Johnny Booth. Where absolutely. They, you know, where they take the influences and they really make cool, interesting songs out of it, rather than it being like this, like boom, 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 boom. Like they're putting together these like really sort of immersive experiences that just take you back, but just they're amazing, man.
Yeah. This is really, really cool.
The vocalist Nick Holland is just on fire. He's always on fire. He's one of the sickest vocalists going. His highs and stuff are so scathing that it's just unreal. Like, I feel like I've burnt skin after listening to this record. Like, I feel like I've just been flamed, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, man. The guy's an absolute wild man. Like, I'd never want to have to be a person who delivered him bad news, because I reckon he'd just eat you. Like, he's a maniac, and I love that about him. And I think that's something else that they kind of throw into their music, is that like that passion and that fire and that heart that makes it all just feel much more, I don't know, like just deeper. I think deeper is the best word I can think of. Like, it just kind of feels like it runs a bit deeper. And there's so much cool shit on this record. But I tell you what, the song that really stood out to me was like Every Grieving Piece, where they kind of turn into a screamo band for a little while. Like, I thought that was really cool. They're like, let's do a Wounded Touch version of Screamo, like Frail Body on steroids or something. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, mate. I love this thing. It's like there's like big touches of like Under Oath, like Chasing Safety in here, which is really, really cool. I really enjoy how this sort of delivers these nostalgic moments to you in a. I mean, I said that about Your Spirit Dies, so I'm probably repeating myself, but like, just it. You are like you're just completely happy listening to this because it reminds you of something you absolutely love, but it's being delivered in a way that's really intense and brilliant that you don't like. You're just absolutely stoked on it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the intensity that really like sells everything that happens on this record. It really draws you in, and you're like sort of waiting on the edge of your seat for what's going to happen. Like, I think that's really exciting. It's like an A24 movie or something. Like, you never know where it's going to go. It's like this really like weird, it's a weird escalation to something. And the arc is like it's just different to what you're kind of used to from metalcore bands. And I find that really, really interesting.
Yeah, it's absolutely, this is sick as fuck. I love to hear like people going back and just this sort of like the really cool like stabbing moments that you get on like old Norma Jean records that like I don't think like a lot of people are like tapping into. Like there's a lot of bands doing like a Audi kill switch right now, and I think the influences these guys are pulling from are really cool.
Yeah, I mean, Bless the Mark, Kiss the Child is one of the best albums ever made. So I think that's a good place to draw influence from. Absolutely. Yeah, man. Incredible record. A vivid depiction of collapse by Wounded Touch. That one comes out on Friday. Get excited. So we've got a bunch more albums to talk about, but we're going to we've kind of taken the lead each on certain records. So I think you're going to go first with one of your recommendations of stuff. Maybe it's a bit more under the radar, exciting riffs and jams. What are you going with first?
Firstly, I would love to talk about Labyrinthus Stellarum, which I can't help but just pronounce like Nosferatu's. Like I've been walking around Husqvarna going Labyrinthus Stellarum. They're amazing. Labyrinthus Stellarum, they had an album out last year and it was an absolute ripper. I was kind of late to it. What's
this album called?
This album's called Rift. Sorry, this album's called Rift in Reality.
Thank you.
This is big sci-fi black metal.
Mate.
Big on the sci-fi, big on the black metal still, but just there's a lot of bands that like skirt these ideas and don't really go full hog. Like, remember when we talked about like how the great, what was
I'm going to struggle to remember it if you can't.
Great American Ghost, right? We talked about how that album kind of like didn't really pop off like we did. We felt like it had its foot sort of half in a world and half not in a world, and then sort of the ending product is kind of muddy and not really that great.
Yeah.
Well, these guys do not do that. This is a full-on sci-fi opera of a record, and it's bloody brilliant. Like, the production's fantastic. Like, considering all the things that are going on, the drums really punch through. The production is beautifully like sort of complementary, and sort of the keys and the guitars are sort of melding together, and you sort of struggle to sort of understand where one ends and one begins. It's all just this one twinkling cosmic onslaught. And then you've got the vocal attack, which is really sort of cohesive on top of it all, which is weird because there's so much going on. But like the production just like really lets it punch through. Like the black metal vocals are on point. You've got this sort of like dancey element. It's almost like a Euro sort of like trash vibe. It's.
I feel like you're underselling that as it's less of an element. It's more kind of 3/4 of what's going on. Like this band are basically a cyber grind band at some points.
It's basically video game black metal. Like it's literally like it's basically video game black metal. It's really hooky, really dancey. There's loads of bigger sort of sung moments that on tracks like Ravenous Planet, and then some tracks just go fully into the instrumental side of things, and they do a phenomenal job of painting this beautiful cosmos with this music, and it's phenomenal. It's so immersive, you know, fully leaning into the themes and really submitting themselves to the cosmic black metal is just so cool. It's fully like no holds barred, unapologetically itself, and it's a really cool listen. Like, it gets properly dramatic at times because of the scale of everything. Like on tracks like Cosmic Plague, it feels like a goddamn space opera. Like it's just big ass video game vibes. This is one that you need to like stick on some good ass headphones and sit down with, and just it's wild. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I checked out this album and it is absolutely mad. It is mad as a box of frogs, mate. Like it's the synthy, almost like Euro dance things that are going on over the top. Like I think at some moments I wanted to call it Delth, which is like death metal health. Like it's just
yes,
because there's a couple of tracks where it kind of goes a bit sort of industrial doom as well. Like and there's this really interesting singing that the vocalist does. It's very different. And there's some moments where I felt maybe it was starting to become a little bit too power for my liking. I was getting a bit nervous, but there's always this like really harsh, savage scream that backs up some of those more fromage-y vocal moments that come through. But all in all, this record is mental and
it's
in a really good way.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. So yeah, what's it called? Remind me.
It's called Rift in Reality
by Labyrinthus Stellarum.
Labyrinthus Stellarum.
They should sample that and play that. drop that when they play live, because that's brilliant. My next one is something that I have been really excited about existing and happening, and that is a new record from Heavy Low Low. It's called Pain Olympics. It came out on 420. Heavy Low Low, of course, a legendary band in the mathcore scene. This is their first album in 17 years and their first release in 15, which is very cool.
Why did you think that the pain was coming? With tales of skin, paid for, nutrition, or pain, medication, so last, preservation. Wasn't convincing enough to consider.
So between me and you, I'm kind of the mathcore guy. Like, I remember I got a copy of Rock Sound, and on the front cover was a CD which had The Running Board by Dillinger Escape Plan, Japan by Botch, and Homewrecker by Converge all on it. And that kind of, I remember it scared the shit out of me.
That dictated your existence then,
yeah,
basically.
pretty much. That free CD decided who I am.
This is who I am now, I guess. Yeah.
Yep. That combined with like watching old Hellfest DVDs and seeing the Locust performing, that's all just where it came from. I've never really looked back since, but one band that were always really important were Heavy Low Low. Like, I remember having courtside seats to The Greatest Fuck of All Time on my iPod Classic, listening to it all the time. And then when they did Everything's Watched, Everyone's Watching, which was sort of an album, but re-recorded versions of stuff that they've released from like the courtside seats and Fuck It and all these other things that they've done in the past, all kind of amalgamated. I just remember being obsessed. And then when they put out Turtle Nipple and the Toxic Shock, I was completely blown away by it. Like, it was unlike anything I'd ever heard before. They did this, like, they moved into this more kind of rock and roll vibe. Like, they were kind of like, imagine if someone cross-pollinated the Yeah Yeahs in an 80s hardcore band and then force-fed them psychedelic drugs. It was weird as hell, and I loved it. And then they did Hospital Bomber EP, and then they just kind of disappeared. And I know there was a period where they did Bone Cutter, which was another band which I think included like 2 or 3 members at Heavy Low Low. but they kind of reformed and played some shows in 2019, which we all know was a great time to reform and start making plans for a band. We all know how well that was going to pan out.
Trying to get the old plans out ready, boys.
So,
Nothing's going to go wrong. We've got the whole world ahead of us.
So yeah, of course, COVID scuppered
Book your
all
weddings. Get
all
your weddings booked.
Really expensive holidays that you'll never get the deposits back for. All of it, just fucking go nuts. But now we finally got new material from Heavy Low Low and Pain Olympics, and I'm so fucking psyched on this record. I think this record is absolutely awesome. Like, I really like the way that they've lent more into that kind of rock and roll vibe, but also lent away from it at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird the way that it's kind of panned out.
I love the swings on this record. I love the swings from like punk fury to like chaotic lacerations to like emo. Like it goes all over the shop, and it's absolutely sick. Like, being absolutely not the heavy low low scholar, I was really, really stoked to listen to this because I know that it's a band that a lot of people enjoy and know that you love them. And so I was kind of listening to this with a real just open mind. Like, what are they up to? Are they killing it? What's going on? And this thing is just bursting with like snot-nosed, scrappy character. It's like immediately likable. It's like the funny anti-hero in any. It's like when Joe Gilgan joined Misfits or something. You know, like you just can't help but like that funny character. It's absolutely brilliant, mate.
Yeah, man, it's so perfectly put together. Like, I think it's a really good way for a band like this to mature. Like, it is difficult to mature when you make mathcore and you're without just becoming really middle of the road and boring and kind of losing that craziness and that kind of zany thing that makes mathcore what it is. And I think it's really impressive the way that Heavy Low Low have managed to sound like a more, they've got to be dudes pushing 40 at this point, and they sound like a more mature grown-up band, but also at the same time they're kind of madder than ever, and I really love that about this.
Yes.
And there's riffs as well. Like, they've got some proper big riffs. I'm talking like, they've done riffs in the past, but I'm talking like riffs with capital letters, like real. But then also they're still weird as hell and skronky as hell all the time. Like, they've not abandoned what it is that made people love them in the first place, but they've just found a way to make it a bit more sophisticated, I guess. Like, I think that's kind of the word that came to mind as I was writing notes. Like, there's this, and also there's just this kind of drunk as fuck kind of vibe all over the record, which I really love.
Dude, Chip's Journey. My favorite lyric moment on this record is Chip's Journey. He goes, "Fuck all you motherfuckers. I'll take the soup and salad to go." And it says, "Eat shit, die quick." That might be the best line.
Eat shit, die quick. Where's my fucking tooth? Yeah. There's so much of that all over this. Like, really cool lyrical moments. Maybe things will be okay as long as I disintegrate is another good one from that song. It's Dissociate. I'm not here in Visby software. Like, I'm a good boy. I love Soft and Obedient. This whole like just kind of comparing yourself to a dog, and just how all the lyrical metaphors about love and how it kind of compares to feeling like a dog and just feeling disrespected, and it's so evocative and so well put together. And then they go into Hospital Bed Blues, which is this mad kind of chill kind of bluesy. It doesn't even have distortion on the guitars in Hospital Bed Blues, I don't think. Like, it's interesting, this kind of croon. Pile of dead dogs, maybe God's a sadist who loves his juicy meats. Like, maybe I'm a pile of shit who fakes it as a human. Like, there's so many great moments. This thing's incredible. Like, there's this presence to Robbie, the vocalist, all over this album, where he kind of feels like he's doing his performance while he's being squashed in the trash compactor from Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like, there's just like a manic, terrified edge to everything that's going on. The whole thing is awesome. I think it's really, really worthy of the legacy of this band, who a lot of people like me idolize and love and have enjoyed since we were like teenagers. And now we're adults, grown-ups, we've got mortgages and children and shit. And Heavy Lolo are still here and they're still doing awesome music. You know, it's cool that the 15-year gap in between releases hasn't meant that they've lost any of their piss and vinegar in their vibes. You know what I mean? Like, they're just awesome. I love it. Yeah, man. Pain Olympics by Heavy Lolo. Incredible record. Your turn. I'll tag you in.
I want to talk about Spirit of Vengeance, Gary.
Dude.
Spirit of Vengeance. They put out an EP called Dog Eat Dog World on Lifers Records, and it is so hard. Gary, this is like, it's like got like a brutal death metal band's like production. It's so sick. It's tough as hell, beat down hardcore that's fiendishly fused with death. I mean, the cover's got a dog barking so loud that a planet explodes. I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know about how hard this band is. It's got an award-winning snare.
Mate,
an award-winning snare, and they really play
else.
into it on some of the breakdowns. They're really loose, and the snare comes in, and it's just, it's goddamn beautiful, man. I was enjoying the absolute hell out of this EP so much, and then a couple tracks in, I realized I think why I was enjoying this record so much, and it's because it's 200 mosh wounds, dude. This band sounds like 200 stab wounds just changed the mosh to death ratio, and then this is what you get, and I'm absolutely here for it. It's there in the vocals, like the vocals are straight up like sort of that like muffled intensity. It's just really sick, incredibly violent, incredibly hard. Like this is so sick. If you're of the same opinion of me that like 200 Stab Wounds are one of the coolest bands on the fucking planet, it's like just listening to them play a bunch of breakdowns, and I'm fucking so here for it, man. This is absolutely sick.
Yeah, man. This is a really, really good, tough guy. Like,
tough as hell.
Because I'll mess you up. Like, do you think they're named after the sequel, the second Ghost Rider movie? That was called Spirit of Vengeance, right?
I mean,
it kept coming up. Trailers for it kept coming up when I was looking them up on YouTube, and I was like, "Do you think that's what they're named after?"
Ghost Rider himself is the Spirit of Vengeance, so maybe
they're named after.
It's a Ghost Rider core band, and I mean if you're gonna be named after a fucking Marvel character, it might as well be the dude with fucking flames on his head and skulls and motorbikes and shit.
And a leather jacket with a chain. Like, he might be the hardest, most metal of all of the Marvel universe. So it's a perfectly appropriate name for this band because they are incredibly hard. Like,
I don't have too many.
I watched a bit of like Hate 5-6 of one of their live shows earlier on today, and even though it was only on YouTube and it happened like a year ago, I was still scared. I was still intimidated. I was like, I had to turn it off and put on some like cartoons because I was terrified.
That's how hard this is. It's so hard. I don't have any sort of great sort of articulate ways to surmise this band other than this is just some of the coolest, hardest shit I've heard in a minute, and I think it's fucking amazing.
It's not really the kind of record that you can kind of get into the
you can't wax lyrical about this. No,
because it's more just like
it's a
like
feeling.
The idea of someone punching you in the face. This is what that sounds like.
Yeah, this is like what it feels like when you just watch like The Raid or something. You know, when you just watch a bunch of dudes get fucking murked for like 45 minutes. This is what this EP feels like.
Have you been watching Reacher on mute with Spirit of Vengeance EP playing in the background?
I've just been watching Alan Richardson punch dudes to Spirit of Vengeance, and it's just sick as hell.
Create the evolution of the AMV is the dudes punching the shit out of people MV.
Yeah. It's just so hard. It rips so much, and I really just think people need to listen to it.
Yep, agreed.
If you're a fan of riffs and violence, which I hope you all are, then that's it. That's what you need. That's what you need.
think we need to create like a thing where we could say certified hard and it pops on the screen. Like a
What would
stamp
the
of
picture
approval.
be though? Who does it need to be? Do we need to get a picture of like who's the hardest guy? Do we get like Stone Cold or like what do we do? Do we get Stone Cold like smashing the beers? Maybe I'll get Stone Cold smashing the beers because that's what this is.
Hell yeah. My next one comes from Homegrown Heroes Employed to Serve. They're a 5-piece metal band from Woking in the UK. Their new album is called Fallen Star, and it was released on the 25th of April through Spine Farm. I've been a big fan of Employed to Serve for a long time. Like, I think my band supported them a long time ago when they were on their first EP. And ever since I saw them play then, I've been a huge fan. But they did lose me a little bit on their last record, The Conquering. Like, it's a good album, but it didn't really quite stick with me the way that the previous releases had. But I know off the back of it, they've had a lot of really good opportunities and they've had a lot of ears come to them. And maybe it's because they're like associated with the UK underground so strongly, obviously with Sammy and Justine doing Church Road and, you know, their origins and how kind of closely like attached to the UK underground they are. Maybe they kind of struggled to get out of that underground scene and get a bit further and maybe hit a few more ears and maybe just go a little bit more mainstream. And I think that on Fallen Star, there's clearly a push to kind of hit a larger market and, you know, become a bigger band as a result. Like, you've got guest appearances from Will Ramos and Jesse Leach on here. Like, obviously having Will Ramos on your record will 100% be an attempt to piggyback off of his virality. Like, who can blame him, really? Who can blame him? If you can make that guest spot happen and you know that it's going to improve your profile, why would you not do it? Like, absolutely not. But the thing about this record is that despite the fact that I'm setting it up to sound like it's a massive sellout, it's fucking awesome. Like, the thing about Employed to Serve is they can't even try to be like mainstream and not sound cool as shit. Like, they're just so like, Sammy Irwin is one of the sickest riff writers on the planet. I will not have anybody argue against that. Like, the guy is awesome. His riffs are amazing. And I think the thing with this record is, you know, they've bought 8-string guitars, they've pulled in the names, you know, they're doing their bit, they're doing TikTok content and that kind of thing. Like, 100% on the surface, this should be a sellout record. But the fact of the matter is that Employed to Serve fucking rule. And I mean, if this is what's selling out sounds like, sign me up. I mean, fuck it. I reckon I'd love this album if there was a 30-second advert for Squarespace in the middle of every song, man. I think this record is awesome. And I know on the release day in the Discord, there was a lot of chat about this album and people were kind of a bit like, oh, it doesn't really do much for me, or like, I think this is probably their worst release. And honestly, at the time, I was one of those people, but I've kind of kept coming back to it and I've just ended up falling head over heels in love with this record. I think it's incredible. Like, I really love, there's that like little kind of sprinkling of stadium that they've added to what they're doing. And then Sammy has kind of stepped up and taken a much more like pivotal role in vocals, but in almost entirely melodically. And he's got some, but the thing is, he's got like a really old school, like classic metal kind of vibe about the way he sings. He doesn't sound like some sort of soppy, wet knobhead like you usually get in bands that have higher profiles. He actually sounds proper old school metal, and it works really well in the context of these really heavy, hard tracks. Like, I really rate this Employed to Serve record. I think it's one of their strongest efforts to date.
Hell yeah, dude.
Did you have a chance to check it out?
Yeah, I checked it out. Not really having as much of an attachment been like a
to
big
them.
Guy
that on him.
I was like really stoked to actually like sit down and think it and like take it in and, you know, just understand that this is a record of a band that are like, this band deserves everything. They've been going for a long ass time. Like, this is what they, you know, this is they're making this their life. This is like the thing that is going to push them forwards. Like, this is an album where they're sort of trying new things and pushing the boat out a little bit further. And It fucking hits, man. Like, there's points that I kind of wish that maybe there wasn't like the keys on parts. So, like, for example,
I
like
can
I feel like the
I can hear
the
what you mean.
synths and stuff. I feel like the synths and stuff add like a bit of a layer of cheese that you don't need. Like take like the opening to like Breaks Me Down, right, where it's a really cool like, opening. He does that sung part. It's the keys behind it that make it cheesy. If that was like stripped out and it was a bit more raw and honest, I think it would hit so much more. Like they pushed the keys on this record a bit too much, I felt. And like I think if you take it out, you get a better product. Like I kind of likened that opening of that track to the opening of like Mirrors from Fit for an Autopsy.
Yeah,
It's a very sort of similar thing, like where someone comes from, it's like just starting a track with a really sort of like honest, cool vocal. And I feel like if there wasn't those sort of like twinkly keys in the background, this would hit so much better. It could be raw. It could just be him, like could just have a little bit of reverb and nothing else, like nothing else. But
I know what you mean.
overall,
I do
though, man,
understand
like
it.
there's loads of things going on. There's loads of like really cool moments throughout the record. Like it's pretty goddamn long, but they make use of the guest features. Like the Jesse Leach track is fantastic.
That's a really, really good tune, isn't it? Yeah,
huge. That's
really
just
good
an
tune.
absolute monster of a track.
Yeah, man. I understand what you're saying about the keys. I feel like that's I don't know, that kind of feels a little bit like them playing the game to a certain extent and kind of doing what would be expected of them, and like who can blame them? Like you were saying, like they've worked really hard to get to where they are, and like they are playing the game, but at the same time they're so sick that they could, you could literally put a full-blown keyboard player in this band and the sick riffs would still win out because of how incredible they are. And I absolutely love this record. It's really sticking with me. And anybody else out there who listened to it on like release day and kind of went, I'm not sure. I was just like you, and I kind of accidentally listened to it a bit more. And before you know it, you're obsessed like I am. Like, and also, could I just shout out that opening scream in the first track, "See a Treachery," when he just kind of goes, "Ah!" Like, what's that Slayer song where it's like he does that crazy noise at the start? I think it's Angel of Death. I think it's Angel of Death, but I feel like that's kind of a homage to Angel of Death when he just makes this bizarre noise at the start of that track. But yeah, this album is a proper banger. Fallen Star by Employed to Serve. Make sure you check it out.
Next up, Deathcore from Soul to Soul. The album is Just Like That, I Disappear Entirely. And it came out on the 9th of May. Now, this is a band that's been on my radar for a little while. They released an album in 2022 called I Hope We Make It Out Alive. And I sort of found it maybe like a year later. Like this isn't a band with a big profile at all. This is something that I just sort of stumbled across. And I remember really, really enjoying it. So I followed them, and I just had no idea this was coming until the other day when it was release day. And dude, this thing is interesting. This is really cool, really like top of the field deathcore. But inside it, they're going for that Sleep Token money. They've gone, hey, let's get some money, dudes. let's how do we do that? Let's get some goddamn money in this. And they've stuck in some really good singing. Like there's, sort of almost like a typo, almost like Michael Graves gothy bit in the singing. And I absolutely love it. I think it's applied really, really well throughout the record. It's got a fantastic production. It sounds absolutely massive. There's definitely some thawing in some of the guitars, which is great, keeps it interesting. The second track though, dude, oh my god, when the sung part comes in, it is wonderful. This is a really cool little combo, man. Like we see deathcore in all shapes and sizes these days, and it just totally makes sense for somebody to be like folding in some really cool, like soulful, brilliant sung moments. And it it doesn't feel cheesy. It feels like it matches the sort of grandeur of deathcore. Deathcore is sort of very sort of up there and feels like you're playing Castlevania quite often. So why not go?
Yeah.
Why not go full hog on it? And it really does well. It delivers a real sort of bone crunching groove. There's a guttural intensity to a lot of the vocals. You know, there's sort of these majestic metallic leads all over it. Yeah, Lament for an Abandoned Heaven incorporates strings very tastefully. That there's symphonic elements going on in this thing, but it's done very, very well. It doesn't feel like it's leaning on those to create moments. It feels like the music creates moments, and then this all sort of complements it, which is so nice to hear in like a post Lorna Shore world where every band's just trying to be, Lorna Shore. Howl has another really cool application of the sung moments and the strings. It's 49 minutes long.
Yeah,
which is
quite a lot of it.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Like, I think they could absolutely lose like a couple of the tracks, and it would be a better album. I don't think this is the final product. I think this is combinations of some very cool ideas, and this is like some really, really strong application of those ideas. But I don't think the total of 49 minutes is what they should be up to. They could easily cut like 3 tracks off this, bring it down a little bit, and make it so much more sort of easy to return to that album. Like once you've done the 49 minutes, you don't go, oh yeah, I'm gonna pop that on again. But how many times do we have like a really cool record that's like 31 minutes? You're like, well, I'm just going to listen to this 5 times this morning.
Absolutely.
Like it's that. Yeah.
Yeah. The irony really is like you end up listening to that band for a longer period of time because they've done like a more condensed record than you would do if you listened to this album once. But like, I know exactly what you mean. Like the thing about deathcore is generally often like the main kind of route to your emotions is through anger, but for some reason Soul are kind of, they give you this sort of haunted vibe that kind of makes you more anxious than it does angry, which I think is really interesting and something that is very rarely tapped into from bands in this genre. Like a lot of it is quite sort of down tempo deathcore. It's quite like thick and chunky, but just that element of the additional spookiness that's kind of all over it from the melodic vocals and like the lead parts, like you were saying, makes this feel like really different and actually really unique. And I think, like you say, I don't think this is the finished product of this idea, but it's definitely like a really good place to start, and it's definitely a really good jumping off point for them to kind of go like, you know what, we've got some fucking interesting ideas here, guys. Like, yeah, and all they've got to do is just kind of let them simmer for a bit longer, and these guys could really put something out that would like blow people away.
100%. They just need to bring it in a little bit. Aim for like a 35-minute. Like they knocked 14 minutes off this record. It'll be fucking golden.
Yeah, man. But it's a really sick record, and especially that track you said. The second track is, I can't remember them. All the song titles are quite wordy, and I don't remember.
No, that is it. They put proper Carl Sanders on the track as well, which is funny. Yeah. Like all of the tracks are like a sentence and a half. Yeah. Which is kind of a sick look, but it's actually not a sick look if you like mostly consume things through Spotify and things like that. It's kind of cool if you can read them, but like when you have to look at something for like 40 seconds to read the whole thing to scroll through, it's not actually as sick. It's probably more sick to like read on Bandcamp than it is like on your app, like listening to it.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, definitely Soul have definitely got something going here, and I would be, it's a let's put a pin in this band for the future kind of situation for sure. I mean, like you say, you were into their previous records, so you've already done that, but now I have too. Now we're both there. yeah, it's a great idea. Nobody else is doing it quite like them, and they're doing it really well and to a really high caliber. Like, can't really like speak higher enough of like the production and how all the songs come together. They're all really good. They just need about 4 less of them, and this album would be fucking just top notch. Hell yeah. Okay, last record coming from a band called Bowie. They're a metallic hardcore band from Udine in Italy. Their album is called God Escape to the Great Outdoors, and it was released on the 2nd of March through ACK Records. I kind of stumbled upon this band, and I instantly fell in love with them. Like, I just think there's some sort of combination of like cheekiness mixed with just being downright filthy as hell. Like, their guitar tone is so gnarly and leery. It's like they've got not just one HM2, it's like they've got 5 HM2s in a daisy chain to just create one of the most savage and relentless guitar sounds that you've ever heard. And, you know, you've kind of got that like No Cure-y sort of Volatile Ways level of aggression and abrasiveness, but then also you've got this mathy Chariot inspired twist to it that I think makes what they're doing really interesting. And, you know, they're a band who aren't scared to do something weird. Like in Buy My Dropshipping Masterclass, they've got Breeze next to turntable scratches, and they do it like it's the most normal thing in the world.
Sick. That's so sick. That's such a sick combo. Breeze and turntables. That's such a hard combo.
Honestly, like when I listen to this band, I'm like, are they taking the piss? I'm not entirely sure. Like, I feel like maybe they might have started off as a band who were taking the piss and then realized after a while that actually they're fucking brilliant. And they were like, you know, like See You Next Tuesday, they formed by all swapping instruments when they were practicing in their normal band and being like, well, what can we do? And it turns out we can do incredible things. And I feel like maybe Bowie have a similar thing where it kind of came together for a laugh, and before you knew it, they were just an incredible, sick band. But this has just kind of been percolating for me for a little while. Like, they released a bunch of these songs as kind of one-off singles over the last like 6 months or so, and they've kind of combined them together and then recorded a few more to create this album. And then they've already put out another song since this album came out. Like, they're probably going for it. They're proper workhorses. And I think that this is a really interesting release. Like Bore, I think it's really cool. It's interesting. They've got a sample of Ricky Gervais from Afterlife in there. As I think, like, Afterlife as a concept of a show is quite a good metaphor for Bowie, because it's like the emotional devastation mixed with the like hilarious moments is a really interesting thing to go on. And yeah, and you kind of have the Afterlife sample, and you're like, oh, and it's one of the like really poignant emotional moments in the show. And then 15 seconds later, the vocalist goes, yeehaw! What the fuck is going on? Or like Mucha Lucha has some really daft samples, including the bit, which I don't know where it comes from, but it's the sound of the tiger from Kill the Music by Every Time I Die. It's the same sample of a tiger, which was interesting. But that song's just got like a quadruple hard breakdown at the end. Like, most of the songs are just kind of quadruple hard breakdowns mixed with like weird stuff. But I think it's really cool. I really like it. I'm really into what these guys are doing.
Yeah, I knew I was going to like this album a lot when I tried to listen to it outside on my phone, on speakerphone, and it's basically unlistenable that way because it just sounded like a fucking beehive. It was so sick. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I need to go get the headphones for this because it's literally like and I was actually just stoked that you'd brought something that was going to be so horrible. I was like, all right, cool.
They have got a guitar tone
like,
that they
for
can't
sure
even
I could get away
haven't they?
with a loudspeaker vibe in the garden. I had my feet up. I had a can. I had my feet up. I was, you know.
You're like, right,
I
let's
was
check this out.
I was like, let's check this out. And, and I was like, oh, do you know what? This is fucking cool as hell. I'll go get the earbuds.
It's worth the walk upstairs to get my headphones. Yeah.
Yeah. And dude, this is awesome. This is a really, really cool, really like cool, uncompromising, just heinous battering, like really just loads of different styles coming together of just this is proper mosh fodder. Loved it.
Yeah, it's filth, isn't it? It's filth there.
I'll tell you what, Night Chewer though. Night Chewer, the interlude's 3 minutes long. That's well too long.
Yeah.
That's well too long, mate.
Yeah.
That should be, if you're a band of that size of that thing, that interlude should be 1 minute under. It should be 1 minute under. No need for it to be 3 minutes. I agree. Mental. I'll be honest, I
skip that every time I listen to the record because
so
it doesn't really need to be there.
It doesn't do anything. It's not like it builds.
No, it's not like a tension release for the record. It's just kind of a weird moment. So I do tend to just skip it. But when the band are actually being a band, they absolutely rip. And like you're saying, like they've just got a guitar tone that they can't even control, and I love that about it. Like, I just think like they don't even understand how they manage to like contain their ridiculous sound. I think they're a brilliant band. Yeah, God Escape to the Great Outdoors by Bowie, very well worth checking out.
Last band from me, Gary. Lifetaker.
Yes.
They've got a new EP. It's called Herbsthunde, maybe.
Probably.
I might have said that completely wrong.
Sounds good. I'll take it.
Herbsthunde, maybe. Maybe it's Herbsthunde. So Lifetaker are a band that I've been aware of since 2020 when they released an album called Night Intruder that was an absolute ripper. But what they did do back then is not what they're up to now. And I absolutely love that. I think they were in a very sort of defined sort of HM2 black and hardcore violence vibe. And who doesn't like that? I mean,
absolutely, yeah. That's great.
That's what we love. We love a HM2. We love people getting punched. We love album covers with people holding knives. Who doesn't? But fast forward to 2025. They did put another album out in 2022, by the way. Fast forward to 2025, and they have taken quite the left turn. And I am fucking here for it. They were very much in the pocket of their genre previously. They were quite good, but I wouldn't say that they were a memorable band. And I think maybe they realised that what they need to do to be sort of true to themselves, maybe, or something like that, is just like get a bit open. Like they've put together this new EP, which is so left field and so interesting. I feel like they're taking notes from bands like Fang or like Portrayal of Guilt, like folding in like sort of harsh noise from, things like The Body and Full of Hell, like that kind of industrial vibe. And what they've come up with here is fucking cool. It's incredibly miserable. It's incredibly raw. And in the context of something being so sort of digital, feeling like such a digital hellscape is actually quite cool and odd, actually, to maintain that sort of humanity and this sort of life in it. It's really awesome little EP. Like they're just in this like sort of weirdo zone now, and I love it. The vocal delivery is very much on this sort of like blackened sort of, it's almost like a blackened punk vibe. It's very sort of spat, the vocals, like they're very sort of scathing and awesome, but the music also has like sort of a noise rocky sort of style, sort of like cyclical nature to it. It's very interesting, it's very intense, it's very sort of almost dancey, and like you can feel like there could be sort of a cinematic sort of application to this. Like you can like sort of put scenes in your head of like people running away to something like, or like someone's taken a bad trip in Europe, like to this sort of crazy thing. Like it's like very cool. It's weirdly sort of synthetic and raw at once. It's like got such a brilliant approach to these ideas, like very venomous and very snarled. Like I am so here for this switch up, dude.
Yeah, this is really cool. I love that they refer to themselves in their Spotify bio as anti-tainment. I thought that was really good, because it's not exactly fun, but it's incredibly like satisfying. It's kind of the same thing that makes you enjoy something like Author and Punisher or Autark. Like it's that like industrial throb that's going through it that's so powerful. And like initially I kind of thought the vocalist sounded a bit like Donald Duck, but the longer I listened to it, the more I started to appreciate it. And he kind of sounds a bit like a wounded animal sort of slowly dying and crying for help while he's doing it. Like
I think you can get on board with it if you listen to like bands like Uniform, stuff like that. I think this is coming for that vibe.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely coming from that world of sort of like miserable, like destitute people just putting their breakdowns to music. And I really enjoyed this, man. I thought this was really cool. I'm glad you put this on the list of stuff to cover, because I'd never listened to anything before, so I don't know that they used to be a straight up HM2 hardcore band and now they've completely pivoted. I just enjoyed this for what it was, and Yeah, I was really taken away with it. Like, I was in the office, and they had like absolute 90s on, and the second that a Oasis song comes on, I'm straight in with the headphones, and I put this on, and it just felt perfect. It felt like the perfect antidote to being made to listen to Champagne Supernova in the office.
this is anti-Champagne Supernova.
For sure. Yeah, man, this is really cool. This is something I will take away, and I'll be enjoying a lot more.
Yeah, I'm really, really stoked to see what happens with these guys. You know, they would be perfect to like for a little like Dodds Escada tour, something like that. That would be.
I could see it. Very cool. Yeah, man. Lifetaker. So that's a lot of music that we talked about this week. There's a lot of bands, but you know, we haven't talked about new music in like a couple of months at this point. So, you know, we've got some catching up to do. But you know, I'll put links to everything in the description. So go and check out anything that we've talked about that takes your fancy. If you enjoy what we do it very regularly. We're here once a week chatting about new music. So give us a like and a subscribe to stay in touch and just find out what the sickest new music is that's coming out and what you should be listening to make yourself really cool.
Yeah. And join the Discord. Discord is where everyone shares all the brilliant music all the time. It's a fantastic place to be.
Yeah, we love you all, and we'll see you soon.